Good evening, dear friends. Deep Talks virtual reality on love, life, and experiences is today hosting someone very special with me on the 70th episode of Deep Talks. She is Archana Kapoor Nagpal, a great personality for whom the words will fall short. So, this speaker would today host somebody like me because Srishti is not there, unfortunately, and I am in going to be conversation with Archana Kapoor Nagpal. I always say life is short and you should live it up fully. And this is something that I am offering to people who are watching from their homes, their offices, or from wherever they are across the globe. With all the love, all my heart and mind for this show, I am bringing to you Archana Kapoor Nagpal today. And it's an honor, my dear friends, to conduct the 70th episode because it takes a lot of courage for the guests to come on the seat and be there for the audience who's going to watch not only when they are watching it live but also later on. It takes immense confidence and also a lot of wise words to come out from the experiences they've had in their life. I am so honored that in case if there is somebody who gets uplifted by the experiences we share on this show, there could be a brighter tomorrow for that person. So welcoming Archana Kapoor Nagpal on the 70th episode. Welcome, Archana. I hope that you have a pleasant experience on this show, and I hope that you share with the audience whatever you feel like sharing without any hesitation.
Thanks, Gurleen. And firstly, congratulations on 70th episode because I know how much pain it takes to pull any show on your own. And I'm sure
Exactly.
this is a one women army, and
Yes.
you're doing a great job. You are providing a platform to a lot of people, and you have a long way to go.
True. Thanks a lot, Archana. So I would love to start by, asking you, how did this modeling happen to you? Was it your instinctual voice that told you that, okay, modeling is the way, the, passage of thought arrived with a moment of time or with a moment of years, or was it a deep thought given by your parents or friends nearby? So I would love to know because it is something that is personal question from me. I'm so excited to host you that I have to say that you have an amazing, amazing body and beautiful the way you dress up, the way you look. I really would love to know what makes you think that you have to enter into this profession and uplift those souls, those ladies, those who are dying to be on the stage and perform, whether it's a fashion show or something like that. So what made you choose this profession? Was it your instinct or was it the experience of somebody that you learned over the time that this is your calling?
Okay, see, if I see my journey as a model, to be very honest, it was nowhere in the chapters of my life ever. I started modeling when generally women think that it's the time to retire and and just sit back and take care of home. I have been taking care of my home all almost 14 years in a married life, and then one day I just saw one of the advertisements, flashing on Facebook, Mrs. India Karnataka auditions happening. Just answer one
Okay.
question. So, because I'm a writer, so I write very well. I answered that question
Wonderful.
and I just get through the Mrs. India Karnataka as a second runner up. I competed I actually competed for Mrs. India representing the state of Karnataka. But that was the stage which I somehow couldn't take certain things because things were very fishy. And I thought,
Yes.
okay, this is a beautiful industry, but people are exploiting it in the right or the wrong way. And I
Yes.
thought, okay, I'm going to start a small event company wherein I will promote girls and models who don't have to go through casting couch or any kind of physical exploitation in any of the ways.
Wonderful.
And
Wonderful. It's a
maybe
remarkable part that you did.
maybe
Yes.
yeah, and maybe during my Mrs. India tenure and journey, my face was noticed, and I started modeling at the age of 39. So my very first photo
Wow.
shoot was at the age of 39, and after that, I never looked back. Whether it was
Oh my
collaboration, whether it
God.
was for my
It is
journey just
wonderful to know
started, and
that you started your journey at age 39 in modeling. It is wonderful. It's an initiative that every woman needs to hear, every girl needs to hear that age is not what you have to think a lot about. It is
Not
not
a
the age, it is the willingness, it is the initiative. And Archana, it is amazing that you're sharing a story. It's going to inspire a lot many women around there. And this interactive conversation is going to be really very interacting. Jog Bhatia has joined us and says, very good evening to both of you, both looking awesome. Thanks a lot. And there is one more person who's joined us, is journalist Vishal Chaudhary. Welcome, Archana. He says, we are welcoming you as
thank
well.
you,
And
Vishal.
you all keep sharing your love. And Archana is sharing a very beautiful memory of her life. And she's also sharing whatever she has experienced in her life. So let's hear Archana once more. Sorry for cutting you short, but they're so excited. The audience is so excited that they're popping in comments, and I could not overlook that. So, yes, Archana, you were saying that you started your journey at the age of 39 in modeling.
Yes. And then I thought that, camera gives me confidence. It is one thing where I feel myself, the real myself in the real world. So
Yes,
I just thought that, okay, if something gives me happiness, that should be the mantra of life. And I just took modeling in stride. I made sure that I do
wow,
modeling in which I have been comfortable, because I also run an NGO, so I have to keep up that image also into picture.
wonderful.
But yes, I think women who aspire to be a model, it doesn't matter about your skin shade or your curves or your curvature
Yes,
of your mindset or your mental conditioning. It is all about how you see yourself. I've seen models
yes,
who are dark, who are little but it's your
yes.
confidence, and that shows up in the camera.
True, true. So fantastically wrapped up in a few sentences. That is the confidence and the courage. No matter what figure you have, it is something that is called courage and willingness and the initiative that you have to take, an optimistic outlook that requires enough of willpower that you move forward at any age. Whereas Jog Bhatia has
Yeah.
commented, Archana, you are a real life model and an inspiration for many. You proved that age is only a number. Yes, indeed. She is inspiring a lot many people. And Arasu P has joined us saying, good evening, Gurleen ji. A very good evening to all of you who've joined us this conversation because it gets better with your being there. So, honored by Hindi
Yes.
Sahitya Academy at the age of 17. It is a wonderful achievement at a young age, Archana. It's amazing to be honored at the age of 17 where people are still thinking what to do. How did you feel and how did this happen? As you said, you are a writer. So, what made you come to this point and how did you take this success? Because at a very young age, people are trying to be this fall on substance abuse and all that stuff, but at this age you were doing something really great. So is it the grooming or is it something that comes with the background? We would all love to know how did this happen and how you took the success of Hindi Sahitya Academy Award being honored, because it is indeed an honor for India also at this level, because youngsters would be inspired by you, the kids who are looking forward to people doing great at this age. This is wonderful and amazing. Kindly share something about this.
Okay. So actually, I come from a family where my father has served raw research analysis in Wing closer to 39 years,
Wonderful.
and he was posted in Pakistan. So during our tenure there, we used to get a 3 month school vacation, and that was the time when we were not supposed to go out, being in a country where there are some safety concerns. So
Yes.
we used to write, and I always enjoyed reading and writing at that point of time, and I was hardly 10 years old. So when I was in 12th standard, there was a school magazine, and my teachers, they asked, just submit articles. So I wrote a
Wow.
very small write up on karma and Jeevan. So my Hindi was
Wonderful.
not that great, but my mother, she edited and she proofread the article, and somehow the magazine had gone further, and my
Wonderful.
article was appreciated. And then at the age of 17, I got honorable mention by Hindi Sahitya Academy for that particular article. So from there, the seed of writer, had actually been sown. And after that, I never looked back. So writing became my bread and butter. It became my first job. Until date, it's my inspiration to live, because through
Wonderful.
words you can change lives.
Yes, that's wonderful. There's Ravinder Singh Virdi who's joined himself as a writer. Good to see two fabulous personalities together. Arasu says, Archana ji, wow, most inspirational women. Keep rocking. God bless you all your works in the future. Wonderful. Thanks to
Thank you.
all of you who've joined us and are watching us, because that makes the show even more brighter and better. So you have also brought honor to India by winning 20 awards in the haiku category. We would love to know what is this haiku category and how did this happen, because it is one achievement after another, and it is amazing to hold a lot many laurels and still be grounded and humble and polite to everybody. And I know that I connected to you, we had some mutual friends, and it's wonderful to have space for someone and still have all the laurels, and you are carrying them off so really well. We would love to know how did this happen? Winning 20 awards in the haiku category, it is amazing. I should say that we should all give a standing ovation to you, because this
Yeah,
is something
that's
that inspires not only me, but many people. For you, it could be a lesser, a thing, but for us, it is something that's amazing. One soul doing a lot many things, multi-talented personality with us tonight on Deep Talks. It is something that I would love to say very rarely will you meet people who have that willpower to carry forward their dreams at any age. And you have proved it time and again. So, this is something that I would love to ask you. How did this happen?
okay. So, haiku is basically people who read micro poetry or any kind of poetry. Haiku is a Japanese form of poetry, and now it is written in English language as well. So, we are contemporary
Okay,
haiku poets. So I think
okay,
there is not a lot of people who are writing haiku in English across the globe, because it is a very tough form of poetry with only three
okay.
lines, 17 syllables, two images that have to be either complementing each other or contrary to each other. So to write haiku
Oh,
is an art in itself. So when I started
wow.
writing haiku, I was bashed by other haiku poets who are addressed as hygiene, because I was not very appropriate and accurate in my application of the guidelines. So that was like a
Okay.
kick. No, I have to write, and I have to prove that I can write good haiku. And then I worked upon my haiku skills for a year, and then I never looked back. Then I participated into various international haiku platforms, contests, submissions, journals, and various platforms where my haiku were noticed. I got awarded, and I actually got 21 certifications, 21
Wonderful.
awards, or certificates, I must,
Wonderful.
for my
Wonderful.
country, because whenever we submit a haiku, we say that okay, we belong to this particular country. So
True.
that
That
is
is
something,
wonderful.
that is something I challenge myself.
Exactly. It is amazing. Colonel Bedi has joined us. A very good evening, sir. He's listening to us and he says, I'm still listening. And you should listen because there's an amazing lady. And he also knows you somehow through Facebook. And he was there saying, okay, we are there watching this show and we would be present to watch the show because it's going to be an interesting show. So I think that you have a larger fan following. So how do you manage this? Larger fan following, and how do you manage your social media content? We would love to know some tips from you. Has social media been a distraction for you, or you have been using it so wisely that you have come so far in this life? We would love to know from you. At this age you started, you said at 39 you started modeling. So for this to be present at every occasion and to look good and to feel good must come alongside, and the amount of admiration that comes alongside has to be handled in a very balanced manner. So how did you take this, and also your home life? As you said, you're married, so I'm so sure that balancing it out takes a lot of time, but do you think that prioritizing things makes it more easier?
Yeah, I think, okay, you have actually asked me four questions, if I'm not wrong. So I will go one by one.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
My first question would be that, okay, let me go backwards.
Yes.
Homemaking, so I think home is something that we all have to follow throughout the day. It's a place where we stay, so now it's a workplace also for most of us during pandemic. So I think you just
True.
have to prioritize. You just have to divide the number of hours that you want to give it to your home, and the
True.
number of hours that you want to cater to the work. And of course, if you
True.
have a helping hands and if you have a supportive family, the journey becomes easier for all of us.
True.
So maybe in my case, things have been very much supportive at this particular front. So homemaking was easy for me. Then
True.
your second question is fans. So I think they have been my fans have been my critics also. They have been my admirers also. So I take them
Yes.
in stride. If they criticize me for something, that means they are giving me a feedback to improve.
Yes.
There have been instances where I have got feedback for my poses also, my lip color also,
Yes.
my eyeshadow color also. So and every time when someone criticizes you, they give you a room for improvement, either by proving them
True.
wrong or by improving yourself.
True.
So you have to choose
True.
one of the battles. Then
True.
social media. See, I always tell people that don't criticize social media for anything. It all depends what you do at the
True.
social media. There are people who
Exactly.
are on Twitter also, and there are people who are on LinkedIn also. So it all depends how
True.
you use the social media for your growth and grooming. For me, social
True.
media is more work oriented. If you see, I post most of the things about my NGO or modeling because I get my work from
Yes,
social media or
exactly.
my Insta handle. Yeah.
So
So
true.
I think
Yes.
it depends upon you, what you want to do with the
Yes.
tool that is given to you in your hand. Don't blame
Very
Facebook,
true.
don't blame Instagram or your messengers. If you are chatting for the right reason, you have a long way to go. If you're chatting for the wrong reason, you are going in the wrong direction.
True, true. We've also heard that you have been a columnist with Friday Gurgaon, Archana. How was it working as a columnist with Friday Gurgaon? And we would love to know that you also worked as a freelance content editor who heads the editorial unit of Authors United based in Pakistan. So, how does that make you feel, and how did this happen? How did you choose freelance content editor as a profession, because this is something that obviously comes around with passion, that you say that you like writing. So this is something amazing, like editorial unit of Authors unit based in Pakistan. We would love to know some experience of this. How did this happen, and what are your thoughts on working for Pakistan, like an editorial unit based in Pakistan? How does it feel, and how are your connections around with people there?
Okay. So now again we have two questions here. So the first question that you asked me was Friday Gurgaon. I have served as a columnist writing inspirational stories and inspirational poems for Friday Gurgaon closer to 2 years. From 2012 to
True.
2014, they were not having any kind of inspirational column. So I approached Atul Sopti, who was heading this
Okay.
particular Friday Gurgaon weekly paper, and I just proposed an idea that I want to write and I want to start an inspiration column. Let people get inspired every
Yes.
Friday for the Monday Blues.
Yes.
And the idea was a good
True.
hit. I wrote closer to 38 or 38 to 42 articles for them in those 2 years, and it went very
True.
well. Now, Authors
True.
United is very close to my heart because it was a publication unit which was started by author Ahmed Khan from Pakistan. So he was looking
Great.
for writers across the globe with whom he
Okay.
shares the same vibe when it comes to writing. And
Oh,
fortunately, Hamad and I became very good friends. We became more like brother and sister from two different countries, two different nationalities, indeed.
wonderful.
And and we started this particular publication unit wherein I used to edit the anthologies where authors from various countries used to submit their work. So
Wow.
we have closely published 5 anthologies in that particular publication
Wow.
unit.
Fantastic.
And I think things are only drastically bad at the political level, at grassroots level.
Yes.
India and Pakistan, we all are the same. We have the same emotions, the
Yes.
same color of the blood,
True.
the
True.
same food palette indeed. But yes, when it
True.
comes to
Exactly.
political platforms, things go vague, very vague.
Yes. Very true. Very true and very well answered. This is something that's truly stated, that we are all the same. It's just the political angles that, create a lot of mystery around and a lot of rage in the human mindset. Well, apart from this, you are the co-founder of Auspire Foundation that we would love to know about. And now, how did this Auspire Foundation name reckon your mindset, and how did this happen that you started working for kids, trans community, and women? How did this idea inspire you to have this name Auspire Foundation? Because yeah, I can relate to inspiration coming from this word Auspire Foundation, but I would love to know, and the audience would love to know, that how did this happen, and what is your message for starting this Auspire Foundation for the audience and for the people who are watching us?
Okay. So again, there are a couple of questions in this. I will go one by one. Firstly, the name of my foundation. Aspire is grammatically incorrect word. There is no word as
Okay.
aspire in the
Yes.
English. Why I chose this word was it's a combination of two great words, awesome and inspiring. So when we
Yes.
were starting the NGO, so I always had an idea. The name of my NGO should be a very positive name, very hep name, and very outgoing name. So
Okay.
and it should have something unique about it. So whenever I say Aspire, people ask what I said Aspire, and then they ask what does this mean. So this makes the
True.
basic foundation of my NGO, the theme of the
Yes.
NGO. Yes, this
True.
particular organization is going to complete 1 year next week, and this 1 year
Wow.
was fabulous for us. We started with no funds,
Amazing.
we started with no
Yes.
support. We just
Great.
had one name in our mind, one CA, and some objectives. And I
Yes.
wanted that this organization should work more towards campaigning, projects,
Wonderful.
awareness, which includes cervical cancer awareness, which includes initiatives
Wow.
like sexual abuse against child,
Yes.
which we call Black Dot. Then now
Yes.
we are doing a
True.
Purple Dot initiative where we are talking about bisexuality and homosexuality, which is a very
Fantastic.
controversial topic in itself.
Yes. Very
Yeah,
controversial.
and
Very right.
yeah, and as an educational program, we just completed our very first coffee table book wherein we have featured 25 personalities from India, women
Wow.
entrepreneurs, and on one side, and on the other side, we have people who have brought medals for the country or missile scientists of India. So, Aspire has a vision that she is inspiring, she is awesome, and she is aspiring.
Yes.
That means
True.
when we talk about she, we started more on the women grounds, but then we
Yes.
thought that we don't want to miss on the child abuse and the trans community, the transgender
Yes.
community, because that
True.
is one community which needs a lot of support, not financially,
Yes.
but professionally. We need to
Yes.
give them jobs, we need to do things on a bigger
Yes.
platform from them.
Lot much of
So now the
acceptance as
moment we are
well.
completing.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes. And the problem is that one organization cannot change things. So we actually support other five organizations also, because we feel that tomorrow when we reach out to them for transgender upliftment programs, we definitely want their reactions and their support. Whether
True.
it's providing them job or giving them the level of acceptance that they deserve as human beings.
Very true, very true. And that is fantastic because the way you are thinking, and I'm hoping the audience who's watching us also connects with you on this score, because opening an outlet for trans community is something that requires a lot of effort. And I'm sure this effort is not going to go waste, because this is something that is commendable, that whatever we learn in our lives, we need to give back to the society. It is the milk of human kindness that must flow throughout. So you have also worked with
Yes.
brands like World Food Program and Deloitte Consulting India. How was your
Yes.
experience working with such great brands like World Food Program, Deloitte Consulting India? They're amazing brands. And how did you shift your focus from so many roles? Was it like one after one just happening accidentally, or was it something that you wanted to taste experience of variety? So we would love to know from you, because this is something that one person is doing so many things, and I know that putting your foot in one area and then giving your time to another thing also becomes a little tough task for, I think, every normal person. But this is something that's amazing. The amount of work that you have done in every field, it really counts volumes for those who are watching us and the ones who will be watching later. So we would love to know that how was your experience with the World Food Program, Deloitte Consulting India, and some great experiences that you still remember today.
Okay, now World Food Program was basically my father was posted in Rome, Italy, and I was studying English. And English at that time, Italy was not a part of Schengen countries, so the official
Yes,
language was Italian. So English was really valued. So
true.
as a part of my profession, I joined World Food Program as a HRO intern, where I was working closely with the HRO chief, working on the SAP based projects, because they were looking for an English speaker person. And my
Great.
graduation in English literature was one of the support structure for me to get a job there. Of course, you work with
Wonderful.
different nationalities, you network with different
Wonderful.
nationalities, so you learn a lot about your personality and how to change it. So World Food
Yes.
Program was my very first job, and it
Wow.
made me see things globally. Then when I
And
moved to India, I got married, I moved to Hyderabad, and because of my experience with World Food Program and my a bit of knowledge about Italian language, I got a job with Deloitte Consulting. I worked with Deloitte closer to 2.5 years. Then I had health issues. I had a small accident. I injured my back, and
Oh
I
gosh.
couldn't sit for long.
Oh my
So
God.
most of the people who see the beautiful body, I have gone through closer to 12
Yes.
surgeries on my body,
Yes.
and
That requires a lot of
I
courage to let go of the pain. I'm sure that you must have overcome that pain because you're such an optimistic person, Archana. So how was that? How did that happen?
see. I think we all go through accidents and surgeries and pain, and it's the
Yes.
mental strength that works, not the physical strength. Of course, physical
Yes.
strength, your immunity works a lot, but sometimes, if you're physically strong but mentally not healed or mentally not prepared to take care of yourself during that recovery phase, it becomes very difficult
True.
to come out of it. One after the another
True.
thing is happening, so it impacts your psychology also. But I
Wonderful.
think that that doing so many roles was never planned by me. It
Exactly.
just came into my bucket as I started moving in the direction of life, flowing. Just examine the flow of the river or flow of your life, and automatically things will start falling in your bucket. That is what I did. I never planned that I will do so many things. Aspire Foundation was
Wonderful.
an overnight decision.
Fantastic. This is something that is a lesson learned, that anything that comes to mind can also be a seed of thought to ponder on and work on. If you have the passion, the grit, and the talent to, move through, you can actually turn over the pages of your life. And I'm just listening from the experiences that you've shared on my platform, that anybody can start at any age and can become great. It's not about becoming great, it's about learning from one phase to another, and let the time, have the phases that are coming alongside it, and let's flow with it. Let's not wait for another opportunity. Let's not waste an opportunity. Basically, if you there's a knock on the door, let's respond to that. And that's how this conversations started. Let's have people coming, and I'll be hosting them and talking about certain topics that people feel hesitant to talk about. And I'm sure that I'm doing justice to the audience who's watching us and the ones who'll be watching later, because this is something that somebody shares their life experiences, just not for boasting about their achievements. It's about something that are facts of life if they're sharing, and somebody can get help. And also, who knows, somebody is actually getting inspired by this show and making their way into a brighter tomorrow. So you've been the founder and owner of Poise Arts Entertainment. Now this is completely different from the previous question that I asked. So how is this arts connected with your profession, that you rightly stated that you liked, writing, journaling, and everything, and now you're the owner of Poise Arts Entertainment. I understand that arts is related to passion and other things. You are in love with nature and all that. So how did this happen? The shift of owning Poise Arts Entertainment. Maybe is it the fashion that moved you, your style, your sense of dressing, that you thought of, starting this, or something else that drove your, zest to start certain things that can be contributive to the nation at large?
Okay, so this is a very interesting question, because as I said that when I competed for Mrs. India, there were few things which I didn't like, and I thought we need a better platform. So I
Yes,
started Poise Art Entertainment, where I did fashion choreography for fashion shows as well, and styling, because I think that though every person has a different way of styling themselves, right? You
yes,
might have something, I might have something, but we can
yes.
always look for people who doesn't know how to style up. So that
True.
is the area which I have picked. That the women who
Yes,
are beautiful, they have nice body, they have, or even if they doesn't have a nice body, but they don't know what kind of clothes will make them look thin, what kind of clothes will make them look more
true.
fab. So that is
Very
one thing
true.
which I started with Arts Entertainment. Then I run a channel called Respire X, wherein we feature the
Yes.
inspirational journey of people in just 5 minutes. So that also is being sponsored by Poise Arts and Entertainment. So that's why
Wow.
you see the word entertainment and arts,
Yes.
because I have been an artist. I paint. I have a label
Yes.
called Kala Sutra. So of course,
Yes.
if I have to sell something, I need a business model, and I think that's the
Yes.
reason I started Poise Arts Entertainment. So it has different domains within one company, and it's a very small company doing pretty well for myself at least.
Wonderful, wonderful. Not only for yourself, I think you're inspiring a lot many souls out there. And it is something that I would say that, everything started from a small platform becomes larger when you actually think about an outlook that is optimistic. And that's what's happened with you. You've taken life the way it has come, and it is wonderful. The way you've carried off every opportunity is indeed remarkable because people give up. And I'm sure that you must have had those moments, those low phases where you thought, okay, no, this isn't working, or the business is not running, and I should just give up. But something must have kept you moving on. So, do you believe that you're spiritual and somewhere? Can you share some of the experiences or one of the experiences where you felt that, okay, mentally maybe I need a relief or I have come to a burnout phase where I need some buck up and I need to do it?
Yeah, of course. I think we all have to be honest to one thing, that the life goes in phases. If you have a up, there will be a down. If you're at the peak, there you have
Down.
to witness the valley. So I am no
Yes.
exception. People who think that I'm doing so many things, there have been days when I have also struggled. I left my job. I was at a very good salary. Then there was a day there was no money coming in my account. Of course,
Yes.
your partner or your parents are always with you, but at the end of the day, we women want something of you all as a human being. We all want something of our own.
True. True.
So
We
there
all
have been
want.
days with
Yes.
me also where
Yes.
I have also felt emotionally and psychologically and financially burned out. But then, that is the point where you realize, okay, what is my strength? Let me focus on that. If my writing
True.
if my writing job is not going well, let me paint and sell my painting. If my painting is not
True.
going well, okay, let me look for a project where I can talk to people, I can feature people. So in any of the ways,
True.
I believe in one thing which worked for me, which might work for you also and many listeners. Never put your
Yes.
all eggs in one basket. Put them in different
Yes.
baskets. If one breaks, the other will be
Wonderful.
still with you. So that is my
Wonderful.
tip for when I have faced emotional burnouts. And I have really faced them very badly in my life, huh? I'm a very emotional person.
Wonderful. That's an honest confession, my dear viewers, on the show itself. It is amazing that this wonderful lady is stating it, but it is something that people have made mental health issues as a taboo, not to be talked about, and they exaggerate. They tag people. Okay, somebody's having a depression, you tag people. Somebody is a bipolar, tag them. So tagging is such a bad habit that I feel that people, instead of accepting the realities and helping the person, they tag people. What is your take on mental health issues in India? Because across the globe, I still feel that foreign countries, the people are more friendly and they approach the psychologists and the psychiatrists if they really feel that their output is not coming or their body is not functioning correctly. Wherein in India, people are still, hesitant. Like I did my postgrad in the year 2008, where I had actually thought about taking psychology. I was wondering why people would, fear coming up to me and asking me when I was asking them to fill the forms. They used to run away as if I am just treating a mental patient or I'm trying to give the questions which are going to be fearful enough so that their secrets are going to be out. It is something that we should be, aware of, that what is the term psychologist meaning, what is the term psychiatrist meaning, and how they can function together to build a great mindset. Because physical fitness, I understand people go to gym and maintain their body, but how many of us really do understand about what mental health really means? So what is your take on this, that India should try to give a little more impetus to the psychologists, because somewhere I think they are underrated and undervalued in India more than in the foreign countries, where people feel that okay, we are approaching someone, it's just normal, a part of the routine, a part of their schedule. How do you think about this term?
Okay, this is one of my favorite questions, and I love to talk about serious mental illness or mental health, because
Yes.
the vulnerability of our society is that India doesn't want to accept that depression is not a disease. It is just a
True.
disorder, and it can be treated.
True.
It can become
True.
chronic if you neglect it, right? And if
Exactly.
you can say that I have a heart problem, if you can say I have a stomach problem, why can't you say I have a mental problem? Mental problem doesn't mean
Yes.
that you are mental. It just means that you
True.
have a chemical imbalance, you're struggling with your
Yes.
hormones, or chemical imbalances are happening in your mind. If you need a treatment for your heart, if you need a treatment for your kidney, you might need a treatment for your brain also. It's also an organ
Exactly.
created by God, right? So it's a
True.
part of your body, and it can go through malfunctioning. So firstly, acceptance
True.
of your problem by the person. Secondly,
True.
by the people surrounding them. See, half of the problem of
True.
mental illness is sorted at home only. If your parents
Yes.
or if your partners or your friends, they all support
True.
you a little bit also, it becomes
True.
an easy journey for the person.
Yes.
Now, the problem is if you don't get support at these two levels, then you have psychotherapist. Now, people,
Yes.
the moment you say, okay, I am going to a psychotherapist or I am on antidepressants, okay, now, since this is a confession, I have also been on antidepressants. So, I also had
Yes.
suicidal tendencies in life. So, that
Yes.
doesn't make you mentally ill. It's just that you're going through a phase. If you are given a support, a treatment, you come out of it and then you can come back with flying colors. But it needs to be
True.
accepted primarily by you. You have to take a stand for
Yes.
yourself. You have to go to the psychotherapist and
Yes.
talk about it so that people can
True.
learn from you, right?
Exactly.
People can learn
This
from
is
you and you
wonderful.
should
This is an
impart to
honest
people.
confession. Yes.
So that is my one thing. Now, because you've spoken about psychological things, see, how many of us know about NLP, Neuro Linguistics Programming? It's a very you
Yes.
must be knowing because you're a psychologist yourself.
Yes.
So it
Yes.
really did a lot of post COVID. I also had emotional anxiety. I had anxiety disorders.
Yes.
I was on
Yes.
NLP, silent NLP, by my friend who never told me that she's doing my NLP. Why? She thought the
Okay.
moment she will tell me, I might refrain. So these are small,
Yes.
small things. If we accept the
Yes.
treatment, we can respond better.
True. That is wonderfully stated by you, Archana, that we should come over the fact, the fear that revolves around the mindset that what will happen next. We should conquer the fears and move forward by, asking help. I think people fear asking help, and even if they ask, what will happen, a rejection or an acceptance? So why not try and move forward? And that is what I tell people when the show is there, the break the barriers across the globe, make friends, connect with people. You learn, either you learn or you learn a lesson the other way around, and that is another learning. It's a phase where we are learning either ways. So it's wonderful, and I always share a quote and a deep tip on my show. So today's quote is, being humble takes one a long way. My dear viewers who are watching us, when you can be humble with anybody, I think it is the most preferred gift which one should value. So being humble takes one a long way. Archana has been humble enough to come on this show, and I believe, I am not stating it proudly that I'm going to go a long way, but I believe that I'm also a humble and honest soul doing something for the community and at large, the nation, and across the globe, the viewers who watch me and appreciate my talent. This is something that I feel always peps me up for doing a lot more work and a lot more effort to be put into this show so that I can bring laurels to this nation in any which way. And there is a deep tip which I want to share. Facing the camera is an art that needs courage to pull off. Not everybody can do it, my dear viewers. There are people who hide from the cameras. So the ones who are facing the cameras, they need to learn some techniques and skills. And that would be amazing that if you keep learning and never say that we have everything that we want. Because sometimes even not having a want can teach you something at times when you don't have money. Your mind works sharper to find an alternative to make money. And that is what Archana did with her life. She has proved time and again that she's won so many achievements in life. More than achievements, it's her nature that speaks volumes today. And I feel so honored and humble enough to host her tonight. It is an amazing conversation that we are having. And before we leave and end this conversation, for an eternal friendship. I'm sure that Archana and I'm going to be connected afterwards this show. I feel that I need to ask her a few questions and a few tips that she can give to the audience for the grooming and the styling, because currently she directs the fashion shows across India as a fashion show director, conducts the corporate grooming and fashion workshops. So we would love to know some tips, Archana, for the ones who will be watching us later and the ones who are watching us now. Some tips that can actually enlighten the viewers about something that they can take away from this show.
My the biggest thing, because I have been very fat also, I have been very thin also. So if you personally ask me, be comfortable in your skin, be comfortable in your
Right.
color, and be comfortable in your sexuality. If you carry these three things very well, I think you don't need any stylist. Learn about your body type. It's very important, whether you're an apple shape or a pear shape or a tube like shape, and then accordingly dress up. There are a lot of videos also and a lot of images, image consultants who, where you can go and just see what suits your body. Don't follow the
True.
fashion, because what suits for Gurleen might not go well for Archana, right?
Yes, true.
So
Yes,
just understand your body type. Don't try to copy anyone. Create your own. For yourself, for your
true,
comfort. And at times I think just wearing a denim, a ripped denim with a white shirt looks so cool rather than getting into a gown.
so
So
cool.
everything doesn't
True,
have to be glamorous. Some things
true.
have to be chicken classy also. So
Yes,
try to manage
wonderful.
things and please compliment things according to your age, because I
Yes,
think that's the most graceful way of aging. So age
exactly.
gracefully, I
That
would
is
say.
wonderful. Wonderful tips, Archana. I am sure the audience will love it. I always know that there are some meaningful conversations that can never die. An attitude to make an impact must not die, my dear viewers. There are a few lines which I've written. You do what you feel. You speak about challenges that make you grill. Life is a great conversation. Remind yourself of a new connection. Make a way for everyone. Life is lived once and best left to none. I always feel that there is enough of talent in everyone, and everyone is so unique that everyone needs to understand that we are all there to make it happen. In any case, if someone feels that there is something that is troubling them, they can always fall back for me, and they can always type in or email me at gurleenkhokar@gmail.com. This is Deep Talks Virtual Reality on Love, Life, and Experiences. There's somebody who has commented. Ashish Mehta says hi. Harsh Kumar has stated good evening. Colonel Bedi has said very important point. Learning never ends. There's so many viewers who have watched us tonight, and I'm sure I would love to say thanks for sharing your thoughts, commenting, loving, and liking our conversations, because this is something that gives me an impetus to work even more harder. And I would love to say a toast to the bold soul. Stay safe, stay mentally and physically fit. Enjoy every moment of your living. Being bold, brainy, and optimistic might work, and it could be a call for development in progress. This is the 70th episode of Deep Talks, and I'm sure that Archana has enjoyed this conversation. But again, before we leave, I would love to ask you one last message for the audience and the host so that you can instill that seed of thought that nobody can, because you are unique and you are here, you are special. That's why this is Deep Talks, and we are honored to have you here again. And I'm sure that this is not the end of the journey of the conversation. We would love to host you again. So, this last question would be something that would be very touchy for the people who are watching you and the ones who waited a long time to see Archana Kapoor there right on the screen on this Deep Talks show.
Okay, so I will just end in a one line. See, my pen name is Zoya, which means life, and life is all
Yes,
about kindness. So be kind to yourself, be kind to everyone around you. That's the least you can do. Least that doesn't cost you anything, but at the same time, it makes you look beautiful. So just be kind
wonderful,
in whatever you do. If someone
wonderful.
scolds you, be kind. If someone shouts at you, be kind. Just be kind and composed, and you have a long journey ahead of you. So I think kindness is going to always pay you kindness.
True, true. That is wonderful, my dear viewers. This was Archana Kapoor Nagpal on Deep Talks. Stay tuned on Deep Talks because they're going to be amazing guests that I'm going to bring forth, and you are there with me. I am alive. That is what I state every time that the viewers who are watching us, we are knowing that the unconditional love and the comments that you type can make anyone's life more alive. So thanks a lot for watching Archana Kapoor Nagpal and Miss Gurleen Khokar hosting this show, because this is all for you, and make way for asking help to be able to find enough reasons to learn from everyone. Break the barriers for free talk, and this is what the show is based on. Thanks a lot, Archana Kapoor, for coming on this show. It was an honor to host you, and I hope that we stay friends forever and make the positive approach towards life a little more
Sure.
easier for everybody. Sign of victory, my dear friends. This is the 70th episode and is successfully now ending. And I hope that you keep glued to the screen for new guests to come and a new way for your own living. Bye bye.